Thank you so much, ma'am. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's our final paper presentation for this event, and it's called Other Letter, a hybrid of Sinhala and Tamil scripts, and presented by Mr. Patham Igudavatta from Sri Lanka.
We request you, sir, to please address us with the presentation.
So this project was done by me.
So this one, right?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like this is the second time I'm presenting in front of like this much of people who are equally passionate about something, I mean, about what I'm going to talk about. First time was Chaitya's presentation, and this is the second time.
This one.
So the project is called The Other Letter, a hybrid of Sinhala and Tamil scripts for Sri Lanka. It's a work in progress. Actually, this project was my final year final project presented at Northumbria University for BA in graphic design. So just a question, why a hybrid script of Tamil and Sinhala? Just why not? No, there's a thinking behind it. There's a reason behind it. For me, there's some really personal issues that I'm really sensitive about this. So just to give you a sort of idea about what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to briefly do this, like briefly tell you give you a background on what Sri Lanka is and language and the conflict. What's the project brief, research, work, and what's going to happen next. So Sri Lanka, a small background. Maybe most of you should be actually familiar with the situation in the Sri Lanka with Tamil Nadu sort of heating up against us. So we have 20 million people, and we have been in Sri Lankan government has been in a 30-year-long war with LTTE or Tamil Tigers, a Tamil separatist group which used to occupy the north and eastern parts of the country. I said Tamil separatist group, but the organization is named as a terrorist organization, including Sri Lanka, a lot of other countries. And we have a Geneva human rights resolution coming up this Saturday, I guess, because apparently we have human rights issues. So just to give you an idea, this area divided from the line, actually the Tamil majority in the Sri Lanka is Sinhalese community, which speaks language Sinhalese, and the Tamil community is concentrated, which speaks Tamil, concentrated in northern and eastern parts of the country. But there are clusters of Tamil people living around different places in the country as well. So basically, to give you an idea, majority Sinhalese people speak Sinhalese, writes in Sinhalese. Sinhalese has a separate script, and Tamil is spoken by the native Tamils and also the Muslim community. So just to give you an idea about what happened in Sri Lanka, the ethnic conflict goes back to like really long time. But if I take you to the beginning of the conflict as it is now, it was because of the ethnic identifier. Normally ethnic identifier is something that we use to identify ethnicity. Basically in India it's not the language, it's basically the religion or the caste. You are defined by the caste or the religion or the area. It could be the color of your skin. In Sri Lanka it was the language, but we couldn't, after the freedom, we got the freedom from the British ruling, we couldn't manage this different opinions and different needs of the different ethnicities, and this language, this language ethnic identifier sort of turned into a territory-based identifier. That's how the whole conflict started. So just to give you an idea about these three incidents I've listed out to reason out my project, why do we need this sort of a project. The first one is called the Sinhala Only Bill. It's actually, this is something I made just to show you what was it like in 1956. Sri Lankan government, not the government, political parties, to get this votes of the Sinhalese majority, they promised the community to make Sinhalese the only official language of Sri Lanka. Discarding, because earlier, before 1956, the language of administration and official language was English because of the British ruling. But in 1956, with Bandaranaike coming into the power, he made the Sinhalese the only official language of Sri Lanka, which meant all the government officials had to work in Sinhalese, everybody, in everything. Basically, imagine your birth certificate handed to you in French language, something like that. And the second situation, this is really interesting thing for me. It's called the Sri conflict. Basically, what happened was, with the official languages bill, Sri Lanka, the number plates of the Sri Lankan vehicles, they added this character, the Sri character. It's a Sinhalese character to the number plates. So basically, all around the country, these number plates were circulated. So what happened was, people got pissed off at this. People in especially northern and eastern areas, they started vandalizing. They started destroying cars that went into these areas. You can see a single letter making this difference. So this is really interesting. This was interesting, as well as, I mean, it was shocking thing to know. So it happened both ways. Actually, all the Sinhala, all the name boards and everything in these areas, northern and eastern areas of the country, were, put on tag against it. It was changed into different characters. People were killed. Around 300 people were killed in 1956. And the third one is the 1983 riots, which made most of, around 200,000 Tamils to flee the country to Canada, and they were the people who actually funded LTTE during the last few decades. And interestingly, there are stories about, if you now you can see what it says. So basically, Tamil doesn't have a sound ba. What did mobs were doing was, in 1983, it was just easy for them to spot the Tamils. They would just stop a vehicle, ask them to pronounce a word that has the sound ba. If you can't say baldia, so that's basically what happens. So has this situation, has it been changed? Because 2009 the war was ended. So this is basically taken from these research findings. Still 82% of the Sinhalese believed that official language of Sri Lanka is only Sinhalese. And government of Sri Lanka has done nothing to address the root causes of the conflict, thinks 26% of the Tamils. So what's happening in the post-war situation is, basically government has to build camps in order to keep these areas peacefully. That's what they're saying. And also, most of the Tamils were Sinhalese they had to leave these areas, northern and eastern parts of the country, because LTTE was ruling these areas. Now they have been relocated in these Tamil concentrated areas with a huge military presence. So basically, their structure is, there's a Tamil village, there's a Sinhalese village, there's a town, and there's a military camp. So this is the basic structure they are building in the north. And you can see this is the commission which government appointed to address the issues in the country. So they are basically saying people are made to transact and interact in Sinhalese against being their mother language. So basically, for the first, in connection with the first slide, it's not about why and why not. It's a problem about appearance of the language, and the solution should be a typography-based intervention. So my brief was to find a way to dissolve the ethnic tension caused by the appearance of language in conflict, combine the letters. So I figured I can do something like this because obviously you can see there are similar elements between these two letters alone. This is Sinhala A and that is Tamil Avanna. Having the basic same roots, having coming from the same language family, these letters share a lot of common elements. So I figured combine the letters from Tamil and Sinhala that correspond to the same sound and build a common script. Guidelines were simple: simplify and evolve the script, not change it. Try to simplify it when it's possible and evolve it, not to change the whole thing. Preserve the script traditions. Be as faithful as to the original script, but have to make it possible to people to read and understand. Of course, me being a graphic designer, I have to make sure it's aesthetic. There is a aesthetic harmony, and test. And I used one Sinhala and Tamil font as benchmark fonts, because otherwise I would be going everywhere trying to figure out what are the strokes. Without a benchmark I couldn't do it. And I decided to develop the initial set of letters monolinear because it was easier for me, and also it's a new script. It's not a new typeface, but script based on two scripts. So it has to be simple for even me to understand what I'm doing. Research methodology was identifying the basic visual form of each letter. So basically I went down a few steps to the development to see if there are any similar elements between these two letters. As you can see, you can see like 7th AD century, it's basically the same form with small differences. So if you take Uanna and Sinhala U, this is the basic form that I identified, and next letter, it's the final glyph I developed. Not the final one, but the stage I am in right now, and this is basically, I mean, just a sort of a snapshot of the project development. I looked at different typefaces there are, and I developed the sketches, and I went to people asking. The testing was not methodical, or it was not a systematic research with the time I had, but I asked people. Basically I posted on Facebook, asked my Tamil friends, went around neighborhood showing people letters. That's basically my research method. And the second one is identifying similar elements and combining significant elements. So similar elements and significant elements is two things. Like I'll explain to you. So this was one of the exercises I did at the very beginning, just laid out the two letters, corresponding two letters, and just to see how it works together. So this is identifying similar elements. You know, the two dots are similar to the both letters. So that's the similar element, and I built the letter, I constructed the letter around that basic or the similar element. And this is the development of that letter, Ivanna. And identifying the significant element is basically trying to understand the basic shape that we use to identify the letter with. So basically this is used to, this pointer or this pointer or spike is used to identify the letter right away. So then I had to develop a grid for the typeface. It's still in the development, but what I had to do was I had to come up with different levels that I can cooperate with. as you can see, some corresponding letters. Now this is Ra and Ravanna, corresponding letters. But the Sinhala letter is ascending letter, and the Tamil letter is a descending letter. So how to combine this? How to manage the baseline and the height? So this is something I'm still struggling with, but I think I have a basic guideline right now to work on forward. And a unification of adding diacritics or the vowel modifiers or matras, I guess. So there are similarities between Tamil and Sinhalese, how we add the matras or the diacritics, vowel modifiers. So I try to combine these, like unify these two and make a new system of vowel modifiers. So there has to be a simplification of both languages. So Sinhalese has 10 aspirate letters, and there is a one-to-many phonem grapheme assign system. So basically, it's like we have in Sinhalese we have two nas, two la sounds, two la letters, and Tamil also has 3 na letters. So in an aggressive move, I had to take out some of the stuff in sake of simplifying it, but I didn't do it just according to my knowledge. I followed this documentation by one of the Sinhala authors who has been who had suggested several script reforms to Sinhalese. So I didn't study any Tamil reform proposals. I followed this Sinhala reform proposal, and I arranged it according to that. So this is basically the whole idea in one image. If you want to show it to somebody, this is what I would show. So as I said you, this was my final year submission. So these are the characters I have right now. There are lot has to be improved. There is a lot of room to be improved. This word, amma, is in Sinhalese and Tamil both means mother. So this is the perfect example that I could come up with to promote and to make people understand what it is. So basically this script cannot be used to write or express so many things, but it could be used to communicate names and place names, and also Sinhala has like 400 odd loan words from Tamil, and also we share a lot of words that we have taken from Portuguese. So these words, each and every one could be written in this script and could be understood by both of the people. So my suggestion now, the traditional way of displaying a name place, name board would be Sinhala, Tamil and English. My suggestion is to use this in the conflict areas, in the reconciliation areas. So this would basically, initially, this could make people not feeling offended by a language. This is another example I really love. This is Triposha. It's called Triposha. It's basically a nutritional pack that is delivered to all over the country free of charge by government. So the title of this was in plain Sinhalese, big letters, and I replaced it with my typeface just to show how this simple material of communication could communicate to people the message of harmony. So whenever I'm speaking to people about my project, what I tell them is, the moment you start, if you want to see the differences, it's really easy, right? It's no matter. I can list out like 1,000 reasons why differences between myself and an Indian guy. But moment you want to see the similarities, you can just say, okay, there's nothing different between Sri Lankan and Indian. So this is sort of a new adaptation, or I've been exploring with another reverend typographer in Sri Lanka how this could be used in other variations, other typefaces. These are some just basic sketches of how this could be implemented. And so my next step would be to streamline the letters, build on them, trying to basically improve on them, and of course, systematic testing, it is needed. This was just tested with my friends and my neighbors and few people I found, but it's working. It's working, I know that. And trying to get this implemented in a real situation so I could get some real feedback on if this is receptive. I have to say that, but for my presentation, final presentation, I had to make a case that this would be receptive. So I set up this website where people can type their name in this script and, share it. So I got like 600 hits in just one day when I posted it on my Facebook, and people started putting cover photos and, this sort of stuff. I'm happy. In fact, I came here, I found a sponsor, and I sold posters from this project to come here to probably like 60% of my expenses were paid by selling the posters and through sponsorships to here. So I'm happy. These are my references, by the way.
Just wait. First, I'm taking advantage of my position here. I would like to first be the first one to congratulate you on, this presentation somehow personifies the theme. I was told that the theme of this event is design and culture, and I think there can be no better example than what you have done.
Thank you.
And it also, I think, ties up this whole, the sign of the times is that we are all working together from different parts of the world and different backgrounds, and yet we are looking at the positive and looking at what binds us rather than what differentiates us. So I think it's a very healthy sign, and taking forward the line earlier mentioned about learning from each other and, collaborating rather than conflict. I think this is an excellent, somehow this personifies the whole thing. So I'm very happy to be in this position to get the first chance to talk about it, and I'll give the others an opportunity to ask questions or make the observations. I think we have some time for that. Thank you.
Dear friend, you have succeeded in showing that type can bring peace.
Yeah.
A type can bring two cultures together and feel it's my own.
Thank you, sir.
So I wish you your...
Thank you, sir.
So, next results and applications doesn't matter to you. You express your strong feeling in combining two cultures, two scripts, and many hearts to one cause.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sujit very eloquently characterized your presentation. It reminds me of through read, it reminds me of the 60s when fed up of the civil liberties movement and the Vietnamese conflict and the inability of the grown-ups to solve these problems. A bunch of youth left their homes, fed up of their parents fighting over these things, and decided to do something about it. They were called the flower children, sometimes uncharitably hippies, but they were the flower children, and you remind me of that. I oftentimes feel that students of your generation, the youth of your generation, are afraid to be political in the nicest sense of the term in their projects because they're trying to please people. And I can see that you managed to convey a very, very thorny issue, because right now the Geneva thing hangs on our head, right? It's very contentious. It's contentious worldwide. The entire world has taken sides one way or the other, and India has been ambivalent. And we've got conflict in our own backyards. And you've managed to actually take this, bring in typography, bring in culture, bring in the idea of conflict, moving towards resolution at this tender age of whatever you are, 24, 25, 23, and put everybody else to shame. I work with a bunch of Sri Lankans in Singapore. One of them is very influential. He knows the president's family, and I'm planning to take this project to him with your permission, if I can.
Thank you.
And I think you should write a nice letter with the information to to this person who is now jailed for other reasons, but who has made huge financial contributions to the Tamil cause, Raj Rajaratnam, because he has a lot of time now in jail and he has a lot of money. So he'll be able to sponsor whatever is required to be done. It's just a suggestion. I think that's something you should do. Thanks.
I forgot to mention one thing. Actually, the website has all the source files, and I released this under Creative Commons license, so anybody can work on it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now we would like to request Mr. Sujit Patwardhan sir to kindly facilitate the paper presenters of this session for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mohammad Shahid.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the second paper presenter of today, Jalpa Shah ma'am.
And now, from Sri Lanka, Mr. Igarovatta.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Igarovatta would also be collecting the momentum on behalf of Chaitya Munasinghe from Sri Lanka.